Hey Jude, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about having your Mars in your partner's 11th house in SYNASTRY and what that can look like. So when it comes to having Mars in the 11th house in SYNASTRY, what some people might not know about this SYNASTRY placement is that it is one that can be a very powerful connection to have, and it goes beyond just the physical attraction between two people. Two people with this placement have this deep desire to kind of make a positive impact in the world. And this relationship can be one that's bigger than just the two of them. They want to be able to work collaboratively with people outside of the relationship, but this is to achieve common goals that kind of allows for them to be able to kind of achieve that goal of making a positive impact. And it's very possible they meet while on the way to being able to achieve some kind of a shared goal or working on a shared interest, and even just being able to kind of find support in somebody else when it comes to something that they really are interested in or they really care about. And finding camaraderie is something that can also bring them together, and that can be how the Mars person and the 11th house person can kind of meet and be drawn to each other. Also, this placement is going to show how both of the people kind of approach conflict, whether they're going to choose to act on conflict or they're going to kind of just choose to compromise. In essence, this SYNASTRY can really create a strong bond between two people, and it is formed on them having shared interests. So this relationship is one that can feel very exciting, and there's this sense of having shared passions, which allows for them to enjoy and experience a very thrilling kind of opportunity when getting together. The relationship can start out from a place of being friends between the two partners, and they kind of grow and build from there. But there's always going to be the sense of friendship and camaraderie in their relationship, because they do have that very supportive element and shared interests in this relationship, and they can be very compatible in that sense. Also, they can have a very strong social connection outside of this relationship, and it is one that can grow, and it is also one that can kind of benefit each other when it comes to them pursuing those goals that they could have or any of the aspirations that they have. And some of their shared interests can have to do with like social causes, group activities, and being more involved in the community. And the house person can bring to the Mars person the sense of what they have going on for themselves as far as their network, their sense of community, something that kind of energizes the Mars person. It kind of really gets the Mars person motivated, as well as the Mars person can kind of energize and motivate the house person with their very driven and ambitious side. So they can work quite well together. And if the house person has like a dream or an aspiration that they may have had once upon a time that they kind of put down, or they have not yet been able to kind of make it a reality, the Mars person coming into the house person's life kind of re-energizes and kind of re-inspires them to want to pick it up. And with the Mars person and the house person, they can even work together when it comes to being able to make that dream a reality with this placement. A positive about having this placement is in how both the Mars person and the 11th house person can form their relationship on having this really friendship-based foundation in their relationship. The 11th house is friendship, it is social connections, and it is, that sense of community and network. So they're going to have this really strong friendship in this relationship, and they're going to have this mutual respect for each other in this relationship when it comes to the way in which they relate with one another. And in this relationship, they kind of have their relationship built on trust, mutual respect, and having supportiveness and having a shared sense of purpose. It can be very much like two best friends who are just always on the same wavelength, or like two teammates who are working on the same project towards a shared common goal. However, conflicts and challenges can always arise, even with this synastry placement. And when it comes to this synastry placement, it can be mostly centered around issues to do with independence and freedom versus compromise, especially for the sake of community or, social connections. And pretty much what I mean by that is, so the Mars person is more so wanting to be able to kind of preserve their sense of autonomy and independence. And the 11th house person might want to be able to preserve their sense of loyalty towards their already established community, their social groups, and their connections. And so what the Mars person may kind of brush up against the 11th house person with is that they wouldn't want to be able to be limited when it comes to their independence. And the 11th house person might brush up against the Mars person because they wouldn't want to be taken away from their already established sense of community and their groups of social networks. And another possible challenge when it comes to the synastry placement is that the synastry can have a tendency to kind of be overly focused on social activities outside of this relationship and that external validation. So this can possibly lead to kind of being too focused on the outside validation, meaning that other people outside of this relationship can have an influence on this relationship. And trying to seek the validation or gain the respect of people outside of this relationship can also kind of have an influence on the development of this relationship when it comes to the more challenging side of things in this relationship that can be possible. And so this is where especially can be very important for the partners with this placement to be able to kind of communicate openly and honestly about their needs and their desires in this relationship, and also find a balance between independence versus mutual support. And they can have that strong connection that is built on a very solid foundation, and it can be very fulfilling for both of them in this relationship. And hence the synastry placement does show a very powerful connection between two people. They can have this strong sense of purpose together, and in this relationship they kind of grow together when they work together especially, and they can quite literally thrive together at the same time. Well, that does it for this video on having your partner's Mars in your 11th house. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.